currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
Hello. Good week. Good afternoon.
My name is Brandon Doge.
I'm Woody.
We're here. It is Sunday, August 20th of 2017.
That's right. Episode number 75 today.
Oh, man, 75. It's a substantially large number. Numbers are going up, man.
Yep. I'm looking forward to every episode, to be honest. But I got to have my future mindset a little bit on that show 100 with the second Wolong Awards.
You're talking about the return of the Wolong Awards.
I am.
That'll be sweet, man. But here we are. It's just episode 75, so that's a long way off. We are, as always, brought to y'all by Cryptopia.
That's www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Cryptopia is an altcoin trading platform with a ton of additional features. They got things like forums, really detailed coin information, block explorers, just a wealth of information over at Cryptopia. Also some cool security features. They've got stuff like custom 2FA, so you can set which features on the exchange you want to be restricted by your two-factor authentication. They've got that physical two-factor authentication. It's good stuff.
Yeah. They also have a forum over there, and in that forum there's an altcoin section. Stickied at the top of that is a Blockchain Dynamics show thread, and if you go in there and leave us some comments or feedback, we really appreciate it, and we'll try to take it into consideration and also reward you with some DOT.
That's right. We love those dots. They are, of course, the native token of Cryptopia. Native tokens are hot these days, man.
Yeah, it seems like every exchange is going to want to have a token here coming up next year.
And so, yes, stick around. We'll be giving away 20,000 DOT today. And as far as last week's question, the question last week was, how many conflicting tickers are currently on CoinMarketCap? So that's how many tickers have the same ticker but more than one coin attached to them, basically.
Right. And the answer was 16.
16. That's a lot. That number has been going up substantially lately.
Yeah,
funny.
right.
Everyone, either they've run out of tickers or they just don't check anymore. I'm not sure which is which.
People definitely seem to have stopped caring very much.
That's true. That's a funny point. Yep, so that was last week's question, and we will have this week's question coming up later.
All right.
Alrighty, so what are we going to do here? Start it off with the
news.
Love that news here.
We sure do.
At Blockchain Dynamics. And we're going to kick it off here with a little Bitcoin Cash speculation. Everyone likes Bitcoin Cash speculation.
Yes.
We'll jump into the pond here. There's an article coming out this week about one miner getting 97% of the Bitcoin Cash blocks.
Okay.
How's that make you feel, Woody?
Like somebody has a lot of hashing power,
and they like Bitcoin Cash, I guess. Honestly, I think that I'm not sure what to think about this news. I feel like it's maybe a little bit overblown. I was looking at a Bitcoin Cash block explorer earlier, and it seemed like there was a pretty decent distribution of people finding them. But I'm sure these people, at least at the time that this article was written, it probably is true. But what does that really tell you, right? If some huge Bitcoin farm is mining these when the profitability is low.
I don't know. There could be a lot of different situations, right? Like, remember, what was that? There was some project we looked at not too long ago that was a big farm, and basically their whole point was that they were mining Bitcoins at, $400 a pop or something like that, and that they were going to try to pass that type of savings along to the people that were investing in them. Do you remember that project at all?
A little bit, but that was, didn't make a lot of sense either.
Yeah. Well, my point with it was going to be that it could be that some people's electricity or mining capacity is so efficient that this is just a drop in the bucket for them. It's kind of just like
right. But if you're a small time miner in that situation, it still makes more economic sense for you to just mine Bitcoin and then sell them and buy the Bitcoin Cash, right? Like, that's one thing we learned, even in the old days of mining, is like, if you think something's going to pump, the best thing to do is mine the most valuable coin at that time and then buy the other coin.
For sure. That's
right?
always, yeah.
So it tells you, I guess the speculation around something that would be that the people who are trying to get these Bitcoin Cash are trying to accumulate a such a substantially large quantity that they're willing to go off the market to get them, essentially.
Yeah, I could see that too.
But who knows? It also can just indicate people
There's lots of parts,
being
right?
stubborn.
I mean, there's so little that needs to go into a blockchain to keep it going.
Right.
There's a lot going into this one, obviously. It's kind of what people are noticing.
Yep.
Compared to one that might have just like fallen off really quickly.
Right. And the flip side to the story is that the tables have turned already. There was a big, the price of Bitcoin Cash went way up, and now it's more profitable to mine than Bitcoin. So I just looked at the block explorer, and of the last 10 blocks, 7 of them were found via BTC pool.
Okay.
So even if at some point 95% were getting mined by some random miner, that's now that it's profitable to mine, it's doing the normal thing you'd expect, right? People are
and we've always
piling onto it.
Yeah, and we would always expect miners to hop back and forth to whatever's most profitable, so they can get whatever they really want, right?
Yeah, good point. So yeah, there's Bitcoin Cash. Briefly had its mining monopolized by one miner. We also have Zcash in the news this week.
Zcash Grant Initiative.
So they have launched this reminds me of Tezos, right? Tezos was in the news a few weeks ago for having this like $50 million venture capital fund for applications on their platform.
Right.
Zcash is essentially doing the same thing, offering up $80,000 in new grants to people who want to improve the platform.
Nice.
So I guess that kind of shows a difference with the big flashy ICO, right? Tezos can offer up $50 million. Zcash is like 80,000.
But not any specific guidance on like what type of project they are specifically looking for or anything.
And Zcash does have those founder rewards. Those are probably worth quite a lot still. But. So yeah, funny stuff. Again, it's interesting that Tezos can offer up so much more money because of the ICO thing. But there's always been an element in crypto of slow and steady can pay off. We've seen that in coins time and again. And it's not like it, in crypto terms, 2 or 3 years is like a lifetime in crypto time.
Sure, yeah.
So, Zcash can stick out something like this where they're just kind of consistently rewarding people for developing the software. That can be more effective than just being like, oh, we got 50 million, everybody pile into Tezos.
Right.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how these different kind of grant programs affect the blockchains that are sponsoring them.
Yeah. I can understand why a lot of these different blockchains or organizations are going to want to be attracting new developers and new talent who maybe can learn it from the ground up or bring in new perspectives too.
Yep. So there we have Zcash and their grant initiative.
In other news, we are at the point now where wrappers are getting into the Ethereum ICO game, we noticed.
That's right. Wrappers have started doing ICOs. It was only a matter of time, I suppose, in hindsight.
We've got 2 examples here.
Who do we got?
The wrapper The Game
Okay.
is helping launch the Paragon ICO, it says here, which is a marijuana coin type of thing.
All right, fair enough.
Yep. And then the other one I saw was the rapper T.I. is shilling an ICO called Flick. So that's something.
Well, the rap game and the coin game, it was only a matter of time until they merged as one. And we've reached it. I'm curious to see what will happen going forward. Who do you think the next big rapper to launch an ICO is going to be?
Jared from Subway. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, that's a big name. I'm surprised he doesn't have one already.
I don't know. I could see a lot of big celebrities starting to do different types of sponsorships for sure. Be pretty fun to see different. I don't know. If nothing else, for the entertainment value. I mean, when somebody sponsors this, like, it's certainly not going to influence me as an investor.
It's like, I'm Tom Hanks. I'm here to talk about patientory or something.
Yeah, whatever it is, man. So anyway, funny, right?
Good stuff. It's just the coin game and the rap game coming together as one.
A little bit more news.
This is about SegWit2x. So it's funny, since we've had this Bitcoin Cash fork, one of the things that hasn't been talked about as much is the original SegWit 2x compromise that's kind of been driving all this stuff, right? And so everyone was super stoked when SegWit got activated. But then the flip side of this is that the reason all those miners agreed to activate SegWit was that they agreed to the agreement where there would also be a 2 megabyte hard fork. And so now people are moving forward with this 2 megabyte hard fork plan. And as you might expect, people are just like getting really pissed off about it.
Yes. And part of that is especially because of the no replay protection, right?
Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that facet of the deal.
Yeah.
So they're going to do a hard fork, and there'll be no replay protection for people using the original Bitcoin chain there.
That's correct.
Interesting. So in that way, it will be identical to the Ethereum Classic launch, but people will be really ready to either exploit it or potentially... Interesting.
So...
Is it easy to protect yourself on the replay attack if you know what you're doing? Like, is there like a workaround to it? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know much about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know that they were making a point of this 2x client not having that protection.
Well, they should toss it in there, man.
Yeah. Well, then both chains... Then it would be likely that both chains would continue to exist after that fork, right?
Yeah, and then we'll have 3 Bitcoins, dude.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Without that
It's gonna be so
protection,
funny.
what would be the most likely outcome you could see?
Without the replay protection?
Yeah.
I think that no matter what, there's going to be 3, right? I don't think that can be avoided in any way. So it'll just be a little bit more chaotic of a transition, I guess, if they don't do the replay protection, would be my guess. But I don't see this just being like... I mean, obviously people aren't excited about the 2 megabyte hard fork, so there's going to be people that are going to stick with the old chain. Is it going to be more like Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, where they're kind of hovering around 5 to 10% maybe of the market, or is it going to be a bigger share for that? I couldn't even guess, to be honest.
Or will it not end up happening, right?
Right, and it seems like the sentiment has always been from the business arm and especially the mining side has always been towards SegWit 2x, right? Like they seem like they're maybe 80 to 90% in favor. It's more of the community side, the participants, the users and stuff that are more upset with the 2 megabyte hard fork.
Yeah.
And the question is, how much power do they have on the network, right? They kind of flex their muscle a little bit with the user activated soft fork to begin with, in using that to get SegWit activated. So it's obvious that they have a lot of power in the system, and I guess we're going to kind of see to what extent that holds true once this 2 megabyte hard fork goes off. And you have all these businesses like BitPay and stuff that are clearly following through with the hard fork plan.
That
right?
certainly seem to be.
So what would a kind of a user revolt on the Bitcoin side even look like in that context? I'm curious to see.
Well, they say they're going to try to boycott BitPay and the businesses that are associated with it,
right?
Which would be difficult to do. I don't directly use BitPay for anything, but I don't even know what I might use that is connected to it at this point.
Well, if mining pools and exchanges and stuff are calling SegWit 2x Bitcoin, I mean that's kind of what it sounds like it's going to be like right now, right? And then
it has been a fight over the name for quite a bit.
Right.
I mean, we saw that
that's going to be a huge
previously too. When the other fork happened, we noticed that.
Yep.
And I don't know if you saw that this week, the Bitcoin Cash guy basically kind of got rid of that argument himself and decided that Bitcoin Cash was not going to be Bitcoin.
Right, yeah, they conceded that one, I think.
Yeah, so. But it seems like the name Bitcoin is still kind of in the runnings.
Yep. And so the block number for the SegWit 2x fork is 494784. And that's expected to hit during November of 2017.
All right.
It seems like this might be more contentious than the Bitcoin Cash was, for sure. This will be fun.
And then there was Bitcoins in space.
That's right. We have Bitcoins in space because of the Blockstream satellite.
Is this actually launched?
I think it is. I think it's up.
Wow.
Well, it says today, this article says today the Bitcoin infrastructure company Blockstream is launching Blockstream Satellite. An ambitious attempt to use leased satellites.
Yeah, the satellite's already up there. Gotcha.
Okay, so they're using other people's satellites to communicate the Bitcoin blockchain to people on Earth.
Cool.
It's cool stuff. The idea for them, their perspective is that they want people who have poor internet access to still be able to run full nodes, I guess, and access the actual Bitcoin blockchain itself, not through some third party or something. And so they got a satellite beaming it down to Earth. That's cool stuff. The disadvantage that it has is that these people without the internet can't actually send transactions through it. So they could see potentially on the blockchain that they had received a transaction, but without their own internet, they won't be able to post new transactions to the chain, at least as of yet.
So do they need a special piece of hardware to access the information that they can access then?
That is a good question. I do not know what you would use to access it.
Yeah.
Probably just users will need a small satellite dish, is what it says.
Okay. And then you just tune it in with some type of software or something?
You tune it in, and you get the blockchain. Seems like what happens. That's cool, man. It's kind of cool to think about.
It's a cool concept.
It's nice to imagine having the blockchain be able to survive separate from the traditional internet infrastructure.
I wonder if they could run a node actually on the satellite.
It seems like that's kind of part of it.
So there's actually going to be like a...
Well, the satellite doesn't... I don't know. I don't know.
Seems like that would be pretty interesting to have that amount of distribution of nodes.
Yep.
Into space. Anyways, cool. Nice step.
Bitcoins are in space.
Interesting step.
Some other news this week. There have been a bunch of phishing scams going around for exchanges, especially Bittrex. So just don't give people your password. Don't click stupid emails.
Yep. Double check.
Just be safe.
Double check everything. People don't really send you links, right? So
yeah.
Just why click on them?
Yep. Always navigate to Bittrex through like the URL, not through some link. And get that 2FA going. Get your Google 2-factor authenticator set up.
Yep.
Don't ever give anybody that number, and then you're safe. Smart way to play. And you can also back up your 2FA codes and stuff too, obviously.
I think you can even transfer them to new numbers.
Yeah, you can back up like the seed.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't. Then you have to protect the seed, but.
Another quick piece of news: Geo token swaps to the UBIC chain.
GeoCoin is announced a swap to the UBIC platform.
Their market went insane on this news.
In traditional fashion, the coin pumps a little bit, and then the news comes out, which you always like to see that. Lets you know the market's healthy, right?
Right.
So nice move there from Geo. Cool to see him switching over to UBIC. Who else is Gambit? Gambit jumped to UBIC, I think, is the other main one. I can't think of any other big platforms that have, or tokens that
I don't know. I can't think of any
announced
offhand,
for
but that's good. That'll be an interesting group of tokens eventually, for sure.
I actually really like the idea of tokens using other blockchains than Ethereum, as long as the platforms themselves are secure, which there's no indication. I mean, I haven't seen any indication that UBIC or Expanse are unsecure, right? They were both vulnerable to the DDoS attacks and stuff that were happening on Ethereum for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they had slowdowns and stuff, but I didn't hear about any like kind of fundamental issues with the chain.
Right.
And so with the Ethereum chain being expensive to use, it makes a lot of sense to me if you're actually trying to program something that uses smart contracts and stuff in an interesting or complicated way, why not run on a fork of Ethereum that's cheaper? I think it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside in the short term would just be the exposure that your token gets, right? Some of these Ethereum tokens are getting exposure that they never would have dreamed of just because they exist on that chain right now.
Yeah, that's true.
But here you have Geo swapping, and they get a bunch of attention too. So, I don't know.
It's true. So, yep, keep your eye out. If you have any Geo, you might want to swap them. You might not want to. It's funny sometimes how the old chains persist in these circumstances, but I think with Geo, most people probably will do the swap.
That's going to do it for the news today.
That's the news. Good stuff. Next, we're going to jump into the market section. We got to lead it off with a quick correction. We had an inaccuracy in our markets report last week.
Yep. We saw Fedora coin way up But we looked a little closer on that because it didn't sound right, and yeah, it was just one of those obscure buys or a high buy on an obscure market.
Yep. So yeah, it kind of messed up the chart on CoinMarketCap, and it made it seem like some of these smaller cap alts had gone up in price a lot, but it was actually just a glitch in the numbers reporting.
But the median still looked how it should have anyway.
That's true.
All right.
And that's the news on Fedora Coin. So let's get into it. We got markets this week.
Where we are at now.
Where's
in case
it at?
you didn't notice, Bitcoin went up
Again.
to another ATH this week.
Another ATH. There's this thing that's happening now where the South Korean exchange BitHum has the largest volume by like a substantial amount. That's just been happening.
Yep.
I always wonder about that kind of stuff.
From what we understand, Bitcoin is legal and regulated in South Korea now.
Yep, it seems like they have moved. They've made some big strides, I guess, in that department, and now they've got obviously some huge exchange activity. We talked about last week how some of these numbers can be deceptive sometimes, but regardless of that, it tells you there's something happening there. What I would love to see would be like some statistics on like the penetration into the market, like how many different people, what percentage of people have Bitcoin, when did they buy them, that kind of stuff. But for now, all we really have to go on is the exchange volume, and it's been very high, exceptionally high.
Very high.
After the Chinese markets had their kind of volume stuff shut off, I think it was the U.S. markets that had the most volume for a while, like GDAX and obviously Poloniex. And now it's kind of switched. Maybe Bitfinex has always been higher than GDAX a little bit.
Bitfinex was like number 3 when we were looking earlier today, I think, right?
Either way, these days it's now South Korea, and I'm curious to see how that trend plays out.
So looking at the top 100, or 99 more accurately, coins on CoinMarketCap.
That's right. We are looking at the top coins on CoinMarketCap. So let's start it off with Bitcoin for context. It is up 2% this week. So we did another all-time high run up to like 4,500. As of our snapshot, it was at 41.28.
Yep.
So kind of bounced back down, but really sideways for the week, 2%. That's about as sideways as we get on Bitcoin, right?
Right. We haven't seen that very often, and usually the middle of the week isn't flat, even if the ends of them are, that we find.
Yeah, I mean, I think 4,000...
It's really just a moment in time.
4,000 and sideways is pretty much the best thing I could ever imagine to happen in Bitcoin, so that means it can't probably last.
Right.
It's either going to go just like insanely up or catastrophically down.
We're never used to it ever staying at one price for very long.
So who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and get another relatively flat week on Bitcoin. Ethereum, also flat this week. Only 0.75% change.
Huh.
Only $2 change in the price of Ethereum. That is unusual.
It was at about 297.21 US dollars when we took our snapshot, and it's just kind of been bouncing above and below $300 basically all week.
Yep, Ethereum has really been range bound around the 300. All right, so that's the backdrop. Very unusual for us to get a sideways market on Bitcoin and Ethereum. So you got to be asking yourself, what does that mean for altcoins, right? Our top 100 altcoins.
It felt good. I noticed a lot of coins going up. So what do the numbers say?
What do we got? We got altcoins up 10% this week versus Bitcoin, and up about 11.7% against US dollar.
Nice.
So kind of interesting. That's actually really similar to their US dollar gain last week, was about 10%. But Bitcoin was up 20%. And so alts last week were down about 10% versus Bitcoin, right? So now this week, Bitcoin pretty much sideways. Alts pick up another 10%.
Yep.
So basically it's as though 2 weeks ago never happened.
I can understand what you mean.
They've basically regained back their Bitcoin value, and Bitcoin is still up overall. So the alts are essentially back to where they were against Bitcoin a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. One interesting call out here, the median change is actually still minus 3% on Bitcoin.
Yeah, in that top 99. I see that. And coins up versus US dollars, 46 out of 100. Or 99, I should say. And coins up versus Bitcoin, 42 out of 99.
Yep, so more coins down than up. And essentially what that tells you is what we usually see is that coins tend to go down slowly and up quickly, so you'll have more coins down on a given week. And it's all about kind of the big winners offsetting the losses is the usual situation with altcoins.
And some big winners there were Binance Coin up 330%, Monaco up 238%, District 0x up 166%, and Bitcoin Cash up 131%.
Damn. There's some huge coins going up by large amounts. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Bitcoin Cash 131, that makes a huge splash. District 0x, is that the one, is that the new Poloniex ad? Is that what that coin is?
There's
or is that the other 0x coin?
Yeah, there's two different 0x coins. There's no, the other one is ZRX,
okay,
which is just 0x.
All right. And then Monaco killing it this week as well.
Yep.
All right, so who lost this week? We had Bytom down 45%, Etherroll down 43%, Peer Plays down 38%, Storage down 31%, and Lunar down 29%. Is that all Ethereum tokens too? That's funny.
Remember that Lunar pump was insane.
Yeah, Lunar. Yeah, a lot of these are just cooling off from having gone up by a ton in the previous weeks, but... All right, interesting stuff. So yeah, few big winners, few losers, but overall good week for altcoins.
In the process of losing that value, some of those coins we just mentioned dropped off of the top 100 list on CoinMarketCap. The ones that dropped off were Etherroll, Lunar, Peer Plays, Mysterium, BitDeal, Library Credits, Humanique, Redcoin, and Potcoin.
All right, out with the old, in with the new. Popping into the top 100 this week. 0x, AdX, co-found it. OpenANX, I haven't heard of that one. Counterparty, Quantum Resistant Ledgers back in. Golden, IOCoin, and TAAS.
Token as a service.
That's right. The lowest market cap on the top 100 this week is Potcoin at 30 million. Not bad.
Not too shabby. So overall, strong market this week. Even though less than half of the coins in the top 99 went up against Bitcoin, things actually went pretty well overall.
It's true. Alrighty, that's our top 100 report this week. Next, we're going to jump into the Ethereum report. Always love to see how Ethereum sub-tokens are doing. So this is just kind of a look at, we got 42 in the list right now.
Right.
Of these Ethereum coins. We've added 2 this week. Qtum and Status weren't in there, so we popped them in. But they actually won't count into the numbers until next week.
Right. Cool. So out of those 42, 17 of them are up versus US dollar this week, and 15 are up versus BTC.
So basically 2/3 down, 1/3 up on those numbers. And then if we look at the overall numbers, we see only about a 1% gain versus Bitcoin this week on the Ethereum index, and only about a 2% gain versus US dollar. So what we're seeing here is these are actually underperforming the top 100. And I wonder if that's because they did so well last week. Maybe they're just experiencing a pullback.
We did see them overperforming last week, right?
Yeah, this surprises me, man. I thought, stuff like Quantum Resistant Ledger, Edgeless, way up this week. I kind of expected that these ETH tokens would have done well. So I'm surprised. I guess just a lot of big losers this week. Poor little Ethereum tokens. Kind of funny, though, because Ethereum is sideways this week, too. So these actually tracked kind of closer to Ethereum than to the average of all the other alts, I guess.
Right.
So yeah,
I see that overall the index is up, though.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. So yeah, they still did fine this week. Like if you're holding Ethereum coins this week, you didn't lose any money. And you probably made a ton last week, so you're probably still sitting pretty good on those. So yeah, that's the news in Ethereum land. So we're going to take a look at some of our other indexes that we've developed here.
One of the indexes we have developed is a gaming coins index. There's 11 coins on there right now.
We got 11 of them.
We've got Gamecoin, First Blood, Databytes, Vox, Nexium, Byte Crystals, Hunter Coin, Leak Coin, Troll Coin, Gold Pieces, MGO,
Mobile Go.
How are those coins doing this week?
We only have 2 out of 11 are up this week versus USD and Bitcoin, so not looking good, man. Not looking good. Let's look. The overall numbers down about 3.6 versus Bitcoin, down about 2% versus USD. Median down 7%.
Man, I mean, I don't see any positive numbers here, basically.
No, game coins, they got killed.
There were 2 coins on this list that are actually up for the week, and that would be MobileGo and DataBits.
And those are big coins, but I think Game Credits is probably still the biggest cap in this list by far. It's down 8% this week, so it's kind of pulling the numbers back, and obviously way more coins down than up, so a rough week for our gaming coins. Kind of surprising. We've seen a lot more divergence this week on these lists than we had in the past, because usually they kind of all are about the same.
Yeah, at least there was a lot more sort of altcoin action this week, maybe, compared to when Bitcoin was just rocketing.
It seems like, with Bitcoin and Ethereum sideways this week, the rest of the coins kind of had a chance to move on their own without just being caught up in these market pressures that are 10 times bigger than their markets are.
Right, exactly.
We got one more index to look at. Masternode Coins.
Masternode Coins.
Love those Masternode Coins.
This one has traditionally tracked very close to the overall index for us so far.
So how'd they do this week? We got 25 coins in the list. 18 of them up versus USD. 18 up versus Bitcoin.
So over half.
So that's way better. That's by far the highest ratio of coins being up of any of our indexes this week. We also got an index change versus Bitcoin of 15% versus USD of 17%. So those are the biggest numbers there, too.
Nice.
So Masternode Coins killing it this week. Dash is up this week. So that's obviously going to have a huge effect, I think, on this segment, is what we're seeing. Yep,
Dash is up this week. But as far as percentage increase goes, it's not the top winner. The top ones were Extra Bytes up 182%, DAS up 102%, Syndicate up 59%, and Transfer Coin up 49%.
Yep, and then Dash was up about 41%. So this is something that I was hoping to see with these indexes, right? Is this question of, if one big Masternode coin pumps, is that going to have an effect on all of the coins with the same theme?
Right.
At least this week, we are seeing some evidence for that, I think. So it's kind of cool. It's going to be cool to see how this plays out, right? If Dash keeps pumping and these other clones keep up with it, that'll be some interesting data, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week, the Masternode coins outperforming the other lists by far.
All right.
Cool stuff.
So overall, that's putting the altcoin cap at about 76.8 billion. That's up about 8.1 billion from last week. Bitcoin dominance is at 46.9%. That's down just about 2.5%. And Ethereum dominance is at 36.4%, which is down about 3.8%.
Makes sense. Bitcoin sideways, Ethereum sideways, everything else kind of has some space to move in. All right, that is it for the markets this week. Another crazy week in markets. I have no idea. Anything could happen in the next week.
Yep. Minute to minute, it's easy to totally change your perspective on the Bitcoin chart right now.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot. You could read a lot into these charts right now. But anyway, it'll be fun to see what happens. As for now, we're looking good.
Looking pretty solid for where we're at. And where we're at now is our 20,000 dot giveaway.
You're going to want those dots. The way this works, it's for the live listeners only. We will ask a question. You're going to tweet the answer to us over here at Chain Dynamics. Or actually, a DM is preferable.
No.
Tweet, DM.
No, not a DM, because it's nice if other people can see that you got it first. It leaves a bit of the questions that some people might have.
All right. So we're going to tweet at Chain Dynamics an answer to the question: what is the new coin market cap ticker conflict this week?
That's right. Last week we asked you how many there were. This week there's one more. What is it? What is the ticker conflict that was added in this week?
That's right. So there's one new coin on CoinMarketCap this week, and its ticker was taken. Who is it? What's the ticker is what we're looking for, actually. The ticker that has the conflict.
Yeah, what's the ticker that has the conflict?
These are tough questions, man. I like it. People got to work for the dots these days.
Yep, it's a nice chunk, though, so best of luck, and we'll let you know if somebody gets it prior to the end of the show.
That's right. And as always, if nobody gets it by the end of the live broadcast, we will carry the dot reward into next week. And so it'll be like a 30,000 dot giveaway. That'll be sweet.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next up, we're going to jump into some user-mentioned coins.
That's right. You took the time to come and give us some suggestions over in the thread, and so we'll take the time to talk about some of those suggestions.
We had a lot of suggestions this week. We appreciate it. We can't get through them all, but we got a pretty big list of them. Some good coins. I like this stuff, man.
Yeah. So the first one we're going to talk about is Binance.
Binance.
That's like finance with a B.
It is. It's like, in my head, it's like the Bollywood versus Hollywood. Finance, Binance. But
so this is an exchange, and it also has its own token, which is called Binance. They're both called Binance, I think. Maybe the token is called Binance Coin or something. I know more about it as an exchange at this point than I do as the token, because as an exchange, it seems to be coming on to the altcoin scene pretty hard, and they have a lot of ETH tokens listed and some other obscure coins, and they were also the leader on that Neo platform surge, sort of. Also, there seem to be some big coins that are wanting to be listed there, and their volume is putting them at number 10 on the list of exchanges, and that's pretty good for being new.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is they kind of, I don't want to say they came out of nowhere, because like you said, they had an ICO and all this other stuff, but it's very unusual for an exchange to come onto the scene and just get this much attention this quickly. It's crazy. I mean, in a way, it's kind of an indicator of how heated up the overall markets are. But I mean, the numbers that these guys are running on some of these coins are crazy. And
right.
as always, there's only so much you can read into some of the kind of market cap and volume numbers that you get.
Sure.
But it does tell you that there's trading happening usually, and I think it's cool.
Yeah.
They're doing some cool stuff over there too, stuff that I approve of. For instance, they are announcing which coins that they're going to add ahead of the listing.
Yeah, they seem to have a nice organizational structure to the way that they're doing things in that regard. So they might announce ahead of time that they're going to add a coin on a certain date.
Yep.
That's just something that we've not really seen before.
So they were launched by an ICO. I think they raised like 35 million. But yeah, I mean, I think you should be watching this coin and this platform, basically, is my advice. With any new exchange, you got to be careful.
Definitely. I don't have anything on here yet.
Ease into it.
Yep.
Dip your toes. Wonder what were the terms of the ICO? Is this something that just sold out right away, or did it have a slower condition? I'm not sure about that. Binance. The Binance ICO lasted 3 minutes.
Okay.
They raised 15 million. Is the details there.
So that's just massively successful, but it's not like outside of the realm of what we've seen.
I wonder what the token holders get. Do they get dividends or something? I wonder what the arrangement there is. I'm sure the fees are just traditional. They do have an API access, all of the bells and whistles. They've got streaming API. Like there's a lot of features on this platform, man. It comes across as a quality platform.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just see where they are in the future, right? They're at number 10 right now, so
right.
We'll remember that.
Again, and for me, one of the most important things in this market is time. You have to prove yourself over time.
Yeah, it always takes time.
And so they definitely have a good look right now. I think it's definitely something that we're going to be hearing about in the future. And I kind of hope that, I guess it's nice to have more competition in the space, kind of pushing everything along.
Yeah.
So that's the coin. It's Binance. It's a coin. It's a market. It's many things.
Another recommendation this week from the listeners was BMyBit.
BMyBit. Okay, so this is a token sale for a coin that gives its users access to a trading platform.
All right.
Okay.
They call it a personal automated trading system.
The personal automated trading system. So this has been going on for a while. The first one I can remember is the Quatlu trading bot.
Yeah.
RubyCoin has a
RubyCoin
trading
had
bot,
one.
right? So we have a new entry into the pool. There was one on the ICO list that we covered that was kind of competing with Numeri that had a trading bot.
Oh, yeah, that's
too.
right.
I don't remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, this is a competitive theme, I guess you could say. So what is the deal with BMyBit? What are they offering here?
So it seems like at the base of it, you buy the coin and then you have access to the system. They claim that you have quite a bit of control over what you have it do, but they aren't super great at describing how it would work specifically.
Right.
They do have some basic examples of what they claim to have been their testing profits, I guess. Is that what those would be, kind of?
Yeah, yep, exactly. In their white paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's all relatively low volume, though. Not a huge amount of transactions kind of that they are saying that they've run through the system. I am interested in this idea in theory, in the sense that I like the idea of people distributing trading tools in this way. Like, there are a lot of trading tools that people could use that aren't provided, just in terms of, executing more complicated buying and selling strategies and that kind of thing. But that doesn't really seem to be what they're targeting here with this. Like, that is the sort of thing that would be possible with this kind of platform. But they're kind of pushing into more like, here's an algorithm, pick this algorithm, and you'll make some money or whatever.
Yeah, and the first one is just arbitrage, it seems like.
Right. That's kind of less interesting to me, because what does it mean to have 150 people running the same arbitrage bot, right? It's gonna playing the same indicators.
Hopefully they at least pick different coins, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. if you have 100 people trading on the same indicator, that's just going to create opportunities to exploit that kind of herd mentality, I guess.
Right.
And so people do have the freedom, of course, to pick the algorithms, and you could imagine there being a large number of algorithms. But I guess what I want to see in one of these ICOs is like just a tool that helps me trade better, the kind of trades that I like doing anyway. Like,
yeah,
help me accumulate a coin, help me sell it off over time, that kind of stuff. And nobody seems to be really targeting that angle as much.
I hear you.
But anyway, so what they are offering, it is an interesting topic, but it's highly competitive, and I'm not sure that this one is. I'm not as convinced by it, I guess, as maybe some of the others.
Okay. We got a couple more to go through here. Dental Industry Coin was another one that somebody mentioned.
Dental Industry Coin. It's actually called DentaCoin. This is the first blockchain for the global dental industry.
It seems so these healthcare coins are becoming like a popular theme right now, for sure.
Yep.
This is even more niche. Subsect of healthcare.
Just dentistry. So I guess the difference between this and some of the other healthcare coins is like Patientory. If my understanding is correct, it's supposed to be a platform to distribute and store like medical records and stuff. That seems like a reasonable use of the blockchain to me. It seems like the main theme for this DentaCoin that they're offering is that they want it to be usable to pay for dental care, right? It's just something you'll use to pay for your dentistry.
So this is just a token between me and my dentist, basically.
Right, and at that point, well, as always with tokens, it's like that's something that Bitcoin can do it, Litecoin can do that, Ethereum tokens can do that. Why would I want to pay my dentist with DentaCoin instead of any other token? And then they come up with an incentive scheme, some rewards and that kind of stuff to layer on top of it to theoretically make the token valuable. So for me, honestly, this seems more like kind of like a token looking for an idea than maybe something that's a super relevant
I hear you.
application for blockchain.
That's how I feel with a lot of coins that try to go for a specific retail market or something like that. Yep. Like with the pot coins, same
right.
thing. Maybe if there was a massive discount, if I could get a discount on my medical care by using DentaCoin, sure, I'll be there.
Why would anybody ever want to maintain that kind of a discount,
I don't know. I haven't seen anyone ever even attempt to.
Right. The whole point of a blockchain is it has low fees and stuff. The person running the chain isn't going to be able to afford to maintain some kind of complicated incentive program. But Anyway, so yeah, dental industry coin. I'm really not too excited about it. I think something like Patientory, where they're at least more directly applicable to the blockchain, is more interesting. And that doesn't mean the market won't do well, right? We talk about like fundamentals and stuff a lot on this show, but in the coin game, the markets are going to do kind of whatever they want.
That's true. Another coin out there is Trollcoin. We've talked about Trollcoin before.
Yeah, it's a fun coin. Old schoolers like Trollcoin. It's just like an old kind of a satirical coin, but also a solid blockchain in the traditional sense, right? It does everything that you want a blockchain to do, and it does it fine. It's stable, secure.
They have a Twitch tipping bot, right?
Yep. But again, much like Dental Coin, it's just doing stuff that other coins can do. You know, there's not like a super huge, unique selling point. But as with all kind of older school blockchains, they usually have some kind of service or something that they're targeting. In the case of Trollcoin, they are trying to integrate into Twitch TV tipping. So they want to get into the Twitch TV tipping market. They have a tip bot, I guess, that works.
Yeah.
And so I guess the question we had from the user this week was actually, is their Twitch integration ever going to work out? And it seems like the answer to that question is that it's probably as worked out as it's ever going to be, in the sense that they made a tipping bot and people who want to use it are going to use it.
Right.
But it doesn't have any official support from the service, and it probably never will, right? They're never going to be like, oh, Trollcoin is the official coin of Twitch TV.
No, they would probably choose something like Twitch TV coin or something.
Yeah, they'd make an ICO for themselves or something. So it's cool that it's out there, and it's cool that it has these features, and it's doing what they say they are, but it's not like, the tipping coin angle has been played for a long time, and Trollcoin, they're doing a good job of it. But that doesn't mean it like needs to be anything more than that, I guess, is what I'm driving at.
It's a fun coin.
And to be fair, right, so I'm talking about Trollcoin, and I'm like, all right, this is a good coin in the traditional sense. It's got features and services and all that stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's likely to break out of that mold.
There's tons of coins that are like that.
Right, but and one of the last coins I said that about was MUE, which then proceeded to blast out into the kind of public consciousness. So.
Right. Well, I mean, even really basic, like you mentioned, the obvious coin to mention would be Bitcoin, right? That works the same. Just basic blockchains. There's nothing wrong with that in the long run. Anyway.
So yeah, Trollcoin, is the Twitch integration ever going to work out? It seems like it already has, to the extent that it possibly could.
Another suggestion that we'd like to take one look at this week is Salt.
Salt.
Salt lending.
Saltlending.com. Okay, so what is SALT? It's an acronym. I can't actually find what the... Secured Automated Lending Technology. All right, so that tells you pretty well what it is that they're going for. The idea here with SALT is that you can get traditional loans, but capitalize them using crypto assets. So I want to get a $10,000 loan. I put down X amount of cryptocurrency as capital, and then the person executing the loan can be confident in the repayment because I have collateral down, right?
You gave the full amount of the loan ahead of time?
That's the question that I have on this whole system, because they're saying it's a fully collateralized loan, right? That tells me that I probably would need to keep the full amount down.
Yeah.
But there also gets compared to, for instance, the margin trading on an exchange. I think that's the most similar, right? Because that's another form of collateralized loan where I want to borrow 10 Bitcoins from the exchange. I can put 2 Bitcoins up as collateral. If the value of my portfolio drops, 20%, they can cash out my Bitcoins, and then they aren't at risk of their loan being defaulted on or going underwater.
Yeah.
Right. So that's cool. And then they're saying this is basically the same thing for a traditional loan. You have the collateral out there, so they know that the loan will always be solvent.
What about the volatility within the asset that I'm taking the loan against then?
That's a great question, right? Because you're like, oh man, I put in 10 Bitcoins to collateralize this loan. Now Bitcoin is dropped in value by $1,000 or whatever. All of a sudden, is my loan now collateralized? Right?
Right.
The answer is no. And so you get margin called, basically, is the equivalent. The they'll send you a message saying you got to put in more collateral or we're going to cash out your loan.
Huh. And then there's a time frame within which you would have to do that, I suppose, or something like that.
Right. Yeah, and it would get mopped up essentially the same way that it would be on a traditional exchange, I guess.
Interesting.
So I have some questions about this, right? Does it have to be, if it truly is fully collateralized, that seems like that limits the application of it a lot, right? It's like, oh, I want to borrow $10,000, but I have to give up $10,000 in crypto.
Why not just sell it?
Exactly. It's not, there are liquidity barriers in crypto, and I think people can see that. And the idea is that you can repay the loan and get your crypto back, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the appeal. I feel like there's applications to this that I'm not fully grasping. As far as the project itself, this is the most professionally well done, by far the highest quality looking thing that we've looked at.
This is how you do team photos, people. It looks like these people were all in the same spot on the same day getting their photos taken.
Yeah, they have big names in it, like Eric Voorhees.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, it looks like you wouldn't have to worry about this being a real project, which is something we have to worry about all the time.
Right, yeah. So unlike DentaCoin and maybe BMyBit, I have 100% confidence that these people are going to deliver the platform that they're saying. I'm curious as to what the specifics of it's going to be and how it actually adds value to anybody's life. But it is a cool idea. So I guess for me, it boils down to this fully collateralized situation, right? If I can only put $10,000 worth of Bitcoin down and borrow $50,000, they have no way of knowing at any time if I am a default risk on that loan, right?
Right.
So it seems like you'd have to have the 50,000 Bitcoin collateral.
Does, yeah.
In which case, is it just another way to get access to U.S. money without
technically selling it or something?
Without technically selling it. That could be it. That could be a big part of it. Maybe it's just a way to avoid the capital gains process and improve the efficiency of the market that way.
Maybe. One thing that is worth mentioning is that the SALT itself, the SALT token, is what's used to get access to the different kind of tiers of membership that give you access then to certain amounts of credit lines as well as different currencies and terms of loans lengthwise.
Yeah, it's kind of worth talking about how it works in that regard, I guess. You get the SALT token to get access to the platform, and then there are lenders available that you can borrow from. So other people are initiating and kind of handling the loan. I assume that the platform would handle the liquidation process automatically if it comes to that.
Yeah. There's a whole other half of the website where they talk about accredited US dollar investors kind of taking that other half of the project on.
A lot of this seems really US specific too, although in theory you could see it being able to be operated in a global scale.
Well, they're definitely the one.
You could have lenders from all over the world, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the one of the big differences between the two tiers is definitely the number of fiat currencies you have access to.
Right.
So this is definitely a super interesting project. I'm certain this is not the last time we're going to hear about this one.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what the kind of applications are that people come up with it. But as far as the presentation and how the project looks, it looks like they've done a really good job.
That's SALT.
SALT. All right, that's it for our user mentions coverage this week. We always appreciate the suggestions.
Yep, we'll try to cover some. We're not sure we'll ever catch up, but we'll try to keep covering them as we can.
Yeah, please come by our thread on Cryptopia. Keep dropping suggestions. We'll send you some dots. It's good. Good for everyone.
That's going to lead us into our new coin section.
Here we go. Got to keep up with them new coins.
We're getting discerning. Well, not so discerning.
We're just kind of picking random coins. So you can't keep. There's too many.
Yeah.
You can't actually keep up with every new coin that comes out these days. At least not with the amount of time that we have available.
Nope. And we're going to start it off with the proof of work, proof of stake coins. That would be coins that you can mine, basically.
Here we go. What's happening in new proof of work coins this week? We got one called Bytes.
Yep.
But spelled with a 1. B1TS. It's a CryptoNote coin, our CryptoNote coin of the week.
Yep, this is our CryptoNote coin of the week. Purely academic. We see this every week, basically.
These CryptoNote coins of the week are like the pulse of cryptocurrency to me. now. It's like you know that the game is still working because somebody's still bothering to release these every week. And as always, we'll say the same thing we always do. They never address whether the major coin duplication bug from Bytecoin has been resolved. Like, they're all just forked from Bytecoin, but they never say whether they fixed the tremendous kind of deal-breaking bugs that it has.
And about, I'd say, well, we'd never have done the math, but most of them we never ever see them again. They never make it to market or anything. But
Some do.
we're not trying to say that B1TES is one of those. We're just letting you know that's how it is. And there's a new coin out called Bytes.
I think like 1 in 5 of these randomly just kind of persists or has people that stick with it. It's pretty funny to see.
It shouldn't take a lot to keep a blockchain going. Like,
It doesn't.
Especially, they do become vulnerable when, like, certain things get out of whack.
Yeah,
But-
POW chains especially. I could see how some of these chains could be vulnerable. But I haven't heard of any major attacks on CryptoNote specifically.
Well, aside from Bytecoin.
Right, but that's an exploit. That to me
Yeah.
is different. I'm thinking of like hash power related attacks.
Yeah. That's a good distinction.
Yep.
Anyways, another one,
Bytes is out there.
Riddler.
Riddler.
Like the bad guy from Batman. The exact one.
It is the exact intellectual property, yep. And this is a huge pre-mine shit clone.
Massive, undisclosed pre-mine.
Love it.
We just like letting you know about these ones because they're out there.
They're actual coins that are released, so we respect them in the sense that they are blockchains, but they're also just kind of super sketchy.
One more proof of work coin this week. IRCoin, or IRCoin, probably is more what they're trying to say here.
IRCoin. IRCoin.
Now, the weirdest part about this by far is that there is an identical coin, essentially, with an identical announcement that this coin is not. Or in other words, they have different blockchains.
So, identical post, separate blockchains. This week?
No, about 2 years apart, maybe.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like a bot that goes back in time and grabs old. Like, that kind of tells that would point me towards it possibly being a virus, right? It's pretty easy to imagine a bot that just.
Well, yeah, I can
virus
understand. I'm always for being skeptical and careful about shit, and mostly I would always use a virtual machine to alleviate that. But there's some parts about it that seem connected, like they seem to be using the Twitter from the original one.
Right, but that just makes it seem more like a bot that copied the OP, right?
Well, how would they have had access to the Twitter?
Oh, they're tweeting?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's different. All right, interesting. Maybe it's a weird... who could explain it? Okay.
Yeah, I can't explain it.
IRCoin, it is an identical recreation of an older coin.
That had died really easily. Like the end of the other IRC coin is just pathetic. It's 3 pages long, and that might be how this one ends too.
All right, it's out there.
Yep.
Check it out. Ready? Next up, we're going to jump into the airdrop coins. What airdrops dropped this week?
I got one drop for you. The AltCommunity coin.
AltCom. Is this a Waves? This sounds like a Waves.
Is it Waves?
No, it's got mining. What?
It even has a little proof of work. 1 coin per block.
Those are actually the best kind of airdrops. Just a straight like Ethereum token or Waves airdrop. They don't cost anything, so usually they aren't as good. But these airdrops that do have blockchains, even if it's just like an older school or a clone chain, tend to do better. It's a 3,000 block proof of work with an airdrop.
So 3,000 coins will be distributed through proof of work.
These are some good old school economics, man. Oh, wait, no. Okay, so proof of stake starts at block 3,000, but the proof of work continues.
Okay, thanks.
It's a long proof of work. Just 1 block reward for ages, it seems like.
Looks like they're looking at some features that aren't too far-fetched at this point. They're talking about in-wallet trading, stuff like that.
Classic stuff. If you... this is the kind of airdrop that is the best to sign up for.
Holy moly, that proof of stake percentage, too.
It's probably claimed already, right? I assume. Usually they get claimed like in seconds. But as always, with any of these things, any of them could be a virus as well, so do your virtual machine thing.
But, you know, Don't be afraid to check it out either.
That's free money, man. Like
yeah.
you get 0.1 on a coin these days. What's that, $400?
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays, the Bitcoins are worth so much that just getting... Are there even Bitcoin faucets anymore? Like, I have no idea.
Me either. Could
I
they
imagine.
even pay the transaction fees?
Yeah.
It's like a $2 transaction fee to get 20 cents worth of Bitcoin. That'd
Anyways,
awesome.
That's AltCommunity coin.
AltCommunity coin, check it out. Looks decent as far as launches go, I think.
A couple sort of outlier coins worth maybe having fun or mentioning. The first one is United SciFi coin.
SciFi. Good ticker. Can't believe that one's not taken.
So this is definitely interesting in the sense that I have no idea how these assets are actually related, but he lists a few different coins and says that this is going to be kind of the consolidation of those coins. So he mentions one called KED, one called UFC, one called GPL, and one called DPZ.
Can you find any of those on CoinMarketCap?
I was kind of just on Cryptopia right here, and I can find KED is Darsec, and then at least on here, JPL is Gold Press Latinum, but I feel like that's one of the duplicates. So 1 second.
Oh, this is cool because this is the first time that I've seen a swap that is
that must be it.
Multiple chains swapping into one.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look like it's coordinated by any of those other chains. It looks like it's just this guy who's like, let me swap these coins into my coin.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call this promising, but it's certainly unique.
All right. Well, interesting idea. I'm curious.
It has some POW as well. Script mining.
Oh, cool. All right, United SciFi coin. If you have any of these other old SciFi coins that you want to swap, you could consider it. Or just keep. Sometimes the old coins do better, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, next up on the list here, we have Starcash.
This is a pre-announcement that I actually felt like was almost worth mentioning. They actually don't have a source code yet, so I'm skeptical because we can't verify pre-mine or anything based off of that. But
it's just a long proof of work, X11, PowPass, so pretty standard feature set.
Pretty
there.
Standard coin. If this didn't have a big pre-mine, though, it would probably be one of the best mining coins of the week, right?
That's a good point.
So that's just why I put it on the list. It's not out. I don't know. And no info about the pre-mine.
That is going to wrap it up for our list of new blockchains this week. Pretty normal stuff. I think that AltCommunity coin is definitely the one for me this week.
AltCommunity coin would have been a good airdrop, or if you're into any of the like tweeting for coins or doing the banners and all that stuff, they've got all of those options too. But then
nice.
As far as PowPass is concerned, I think IRCoin, even though it's not promising, is the best of those three we mentioned.
You're probably better off just mining some older stuff this week, it looks like.
There's so much available to mine at this point. I think that might be why new coins are having a little bit less mining stuff for sure.
It totally makes sense. If you think about, like, you go back to 2014 and they had this huge market that was just blowing up. There weren't that many coins, right? There was like a need. The market had a need for more coins for people to mess around with. And then the market gets flooded with coins, thousands of them, to the point where now today it's like any topic has already been covered. There's not a lot of need for just to have a generic token to trade. And to the extent that there is that need, it's being filled in other markets like tokens. And
another big difference that I think I might notice
tokens.
between those times related to that is that when a new coin would come out that was even semi-promising at that point, some huge percentage of the hashing power in the world would just jump on it.
Yeah. These proof of work ninja launches would come out, and like 10% of all of the script on the planet would just like get fired into some, some supernova pool or whatever.
Because they're just looking for stuff to mine.
Yeah, because launch mining is more profitable. But so yeah, we've that market has kind of reached an equilibrium with itself. I guess there's so many coins that already exist that there's kind of no need for copycat new coins, I guess.
Even the new algorithms seem to become popular really quickly.
Yep. But anyway, that doesn't mean that there won't still be more interesting new launches coming up, and so that's why we just keep an eye on them.
Oh yeah, we'll find them.
They're out there. Alrighty, that's it for the new coins. Next, we're going to jump into our listing segment. So this is where we just review what the different exchanges have added this week.
Yep, it can be nice to keep track of what's getting listed on the exchanges.
If you're interested in this kind of stuff, there's a couple bots, Twitter bots you should check out. One is called @AltCoinNotify that will tell you when any of the big exchanges add a coin. And then there's a companion bot called @ShitCoinNotify. I think there's a small fee on that one, but it's affordable. And that will tell you what is getting added to the smaller exchanges. And it's these are cool tools, good kind of tools to have at your fingertips.
Yep.
And we use them to help compile our list.
So listed over on Cryptopia this week was Cronecoin, Light Bitcoin, Litecoin Ultra, DA $, Encryptotel, Stealth Coin, Kangaroo Bits, Skin Coin, Campus Coin, and Canaction.
Canaction, you should maybe it's Canation. Canaction.
I think it's like cannabis. I think it's like a cannabis connection.
Another one. Okay. Anyway, cool to see Stealth Coin get listed there, right? I think they were a T-Rex delisting, so now they're gonna have a new home. That's been an active market. I'm curious to see how that plays out. Over Poloniex, they added 2 coins this week.
Wow.
Poloniex is back. What has it been? How many months has it been since they added something? What was the
Should have
last
been the
one
trivia
before that?
question.
Yeah. Oh, now you just gave it away.
Yeah.
You gave it away for next week. Oh, well. Anyway, yeah, Poloniex.
What did they list, Brando?
They added Bitcoin Cash. It happened. And they added 0x, but this is the ZRX ticker, not the same as District 0x.
Don't be confused.
Yeah, do not get your 0x coins confused, people.
What
does that even mean?
I started to look it up. It seems like it might actually be something, but I didn't even get far enough.
That's the start of like a lot of crypto like hashes and stuff, I think. But anyway, memory.
Novaexchange
encoding,
listed
location.
Crypto Escudo, Monaco coin. Hold up, not the Monaco coin. You think I had to put a what the fuck in there because this one is the ticker XMCC, right?
So this is a copycat name with a different ticker.
Yeah.
Nice.
Copy Pasta, Signatum got listed, OFW coin, Runners, Energy coin, and Dentacoin. That was the dental industry coin.
That ICO's out, huh? Okay. We have Coin Exchange added Las Vegas coin, Snow coin, Pi coin, XTD coin, BIXC coin, India coin, ASEAN coin, Buzz coin, and NUMUS Cash.
Nice. Over on Liqui, they got the 0x project and District 0x and stocks.
All right, quite a list there. Active, hot week on listings, man.
So many ICOs. Holy moly.
Oh, yeah, they're coming in hot.
Some proof of work chains, but most of the proof of work chains that are getting listed had pre-mines that I found unfavorable.
Yeah, it seems like Signatum is the only classic old school kind of coin that got.
Yeah, and Nova is almost like the last place for it to get listed in a way.
True. Yep, good point.
As far as the smaller exchanges go.
Stealth coin. That's old school, right?
Yeah, that's old.
Let's see, what else? Whatever this 0x theme is. I guess the Bitcoin Cash listing on Poloniex has to be the big announcement of the week, right?
Yeah. I don't think it had the impact that people were hoping necessarily, but it was significant to me just because Poloniex hadn't listed anything for so long.
Right. I like hosed myself a little bit. I put all of my, right when the snapshot happened on Bittrex, at the same time I put everything I had in Poloniex into Bitcoin, thinking that their snapshot would be at like the identical time. And then right afterwards I dumped everything out of Bitcoin on Poloniex thinking the snapshot was done, but I must have missed it by like a few minutes because I ended up not getting any. Didn't get any of that Bitcoin Cash.
Dang.
So sad. But Bitcoin Cash still had a good week, obviously.
I think that's about everything we have to say about this week in crypto.
No birthdays?
I couldn't actually find any. It's weird. Sometimes I'll look at certain birthdays and they just don't work out for us. I need a working block explorer.
You gotta have that block explorer.
Hit me up with birthdays for coins that have block explorers. I would appreciate that.
Alrighty, there you have it. Good stuff. Thanks everyone for listening. Another ridiculous week in altcoins. It just gets crazier by the week.
Yep.
We are brought to y'all by Cryptopia.co.nz. If you have not checked out Cryptopia yet, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. Real nice platform there. A lot of interesting coins on it.
Yep. Head over to that forum. Say hi. We super appreciate it. We try to take suggestions into consideration. Head over to blockchaindynamics.net. We've got all the archives there. And you can also contact us through the website.
You're going to love it.
This has been Blockchain Dynamics, episode number 75. Error by Trial Radio. See you next week with way heavier bags.
Peace.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money, 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 though.
Pull up on my Nakamoto.